Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, July 21st of 2024. Now let me start out by saying this has been a crazy week. Now last week when I recorded my video, I actually recorded it a couple of days early because I was out of town for my annual Sisters Weekend. Every year me and all my sisters, we get together, we pick someplace where none of us live out of town. We fly or drive to wherever that location is, and as you know, I have a lot of sisters, but this is a tradition that we've been doing. This is our 23rd year. So last weekend I was out of town and I recorded my Sunday video about 3 days early. So all of the things that happened last Saturday and all of the things that have happened in the last week, regardless of if I was actually on the day that I usually am, there's been a lot of things happen. I had a totally huge, prolific week of journaling. So I'm going to do my best to hopefully drop some nuggets of things that you might relate to and keep this succinct and tight as possible because I do tend to ramble a little. So the very first thing that I wrote here is don't spend your life in a fake world. And we all know what that means. Keep your eye on the ball. You know, I think that we get caught in the emotional roller coaster of everything that's going on in the world, and we get distracted. We get distracted by what's going on the right, what's going on the left, what's going on in the middle, what's going on in another country. We need to keep our eye on our goals, our own personal development, our own growth, and our own kindness and love and passion and everything that we bring to the world. And we need to still keep, I think, as a human being, as an American, we need to keep our eye on the ball of what's happening so we can make proper decisions. So then I wrote, this has been an interesting week. As when last Saturday, a week ago Saturday happened with President Trump, I was with all of my sisters. We were driving to go out to eat dinner. And one of my sisters had her phone on. She was kind of scrolling, and it was interesting because everyone I've talked to, not just in my own family, everyone agrees that it's absolutely egregious that another human being would try to kill another human being. It doesn't matter where you stand on anything. Any human being, no matter if you disagree with them so harshly, should ever hope another human being dies or gets killed. So it was interesting. It's been an interesting week, and I'm sure it has for you too, regardless of how you feel about this particular person. I think it's just been, what I've seen is that I have not talked to one person, and maybe this is just the circles that I rotate in, who says that they were happy that happened. And even though I know they disagreed politically, that was really heartening to me because I believe that the big word needs to come out of this is unity. I believe we need to be united, and that's a theme that I've been thinking about for the last 4 or 5 years as we've been so divided on so many things. And I think we're being divided on purpose. I think that we are, look over here, be distracted and divided. Look over here how this is bad and how this person doesn't agree with you, so you should hate them. This is all by design. And I think that if we realize, it's like the ants in a bug's life. We are so much more alike than whoever's trying to control us as a humanity would like us to believe. We all want the same things. We want love, we want safety, we want abundance, we want a roof over our heads, we want to be able to provide for our families, we want to be around for a long time, we want longevity, we want happiness. I can't think of one person in any culture that I know of. I'm sure there are people that don't come into my realm, people who do have bad designs on humanity. I don't know any of those people personally, but the huge majority of people want the exact same things. We want love, we want family, we want the human species to go forward. And I heard someone say this week that we are the only species that actually tries to hurt others of our own species. like on a level that's not just simply, to survive. So I think it's just it makes me realize it's really such a fascinating time to be here. It reminded me so strongly that we are indeed living through pivotal times. We need to disconnect from getting caught up on either side. There are many things to pay attention to that most of us are being distracted by. We need to not be distracted. We need to take ourselves into the political realm, whatever that looks like, and pay attention and be involved and let our conscious and common sense guide us. And then we need to not be distracted by all the other stuff and all the incessant talking about it. I think once we look at a situation and we feel it intuitively, we need to go with that, and then we need to stay creative, proactive. We need to take care of our health, people, more than ever before. This needs to be a top part of your priority. And I'm going to bring up here again that I believe there's a huge reemergence of the need to release alcohol from our life. And trust me, this is a very difficult thing, because we look at all the things that say, oh, all the people that have the longest lifespans, they all drink a shot of whiskey every night before they go to bed, or they enjoy a glass of wine every day or occasionally. If you really, from my perspective, I don't believe alcohol is the devil. I don't believe it's bad, even bad, as far as a sin or anything like that. I believe that it is designed to lower the consciousness of human beings, because think about what happens when you have a drink, maybe 2 drinks. It gives you courage. It's because it takes you to the energetic frequency of courage, which is 200. On the Hawkins scale of 0 to 1,000, you get courage when you have those first couple drinks of alcohol. And what it does is it temporarily releases apathy, guilt, shame, fear. It releases all of those. So by the time you have that drink in you, you're feeling better, because at least it's temporary. So I would just say this is a trend that I love to see that is coming out. So besides the whole factor of it's not good for our brain, it's a neurotoxin, and it actually shrinks your brain. You talk to any doctor, any scientist, neurobiologist, anybody who studies the brain, they don't drink. They don't drink at all. So besides that piece of it, when our consciousness as humans is lowered, we're easier to control. So think about what happened during COVID. They shut all the gyms down and they kept all the liquor stores open. Okay? Just want to throw that in there, because being alcohol free now for about 8 or 9 months, and I was never a big drinker, but I enjoyed a glass of wine on a pretty regular basis. But the clarity, the focus, the connection with my spirit, my consciousness has deepened, and it's so beautiful. And it's really just swapping out the habit and making a decision, right? So after I realized we were being distracted, then interestingly, on Monday, I had a visit from a Utah agent who's regulating cannabis and hemp and CBD in my state. And I didn't realize that I had to register my CBD products with the state. So they were here to give me an inspection, and it's interesting because last week, if you get my emails, and if you don't get my emails, jump on our website and sign up, because I keep in touch with people. There's usually an email I drop in the middle of the week, and then I usually drop this one on Sunday. But I give you a little notification. But last week, I decided to it was a week before, I decided to put our CBD intensive rub on special, buy one get one free, because we'd ordered a bunch, but we were sent way more than we ordered, and we've just kind of been sitting on it. And then I'm like, I need to get this into the hands of people, so I put a special on it. So that was a week and a half ago. Then what I decided to do is I need to make a video explaining the benefits of CBD and our beautiful endocannabinoid system. And literally, last week, so this was before I went out of town for my sister's weekend, I sat down to make a video and I could not make it. I probably tried 40 to 50 times. I'd get a good start, some of it would turn out great. I was on a roll, and then I would jumble it up. And finally, I decided the universe is telling me I'm not supposed to make this video. And I didn't listen the first 10 times. So after about 50 times, I said, okay, uncle, I am a stubborn person, and I know I can get something, I know I can do something. So I basically kept going. I kept working on it. I kept memorizing all of these things and saying it over and over and over. Then I would turn the camera back on, and then I would flub it up. So I just decided, no, I'm not going to do it. And so I didn't put one out. Then I had my sister's weekend, and I was back Monday morning. So just this past Monday. And I typically spend the morning at my home office, but I had an intuition I need to go into my warehouse and be with my team and work from my office there. So I went over there. We have a little gym set up. I did my workout, and then I was at my desk. And as I was starting my morning, the front door gave a ring, and then my son said, "Hey, there's someone here to see you." So I went out, and it was this agent from the cannabis department, the regulatory department. And I thought, okay, a couple things. Well, I wasn't supposed to make that video. And then there was the obvious reason, right? And then I thought, okay, well, I have all these CBD products that are amazing, and they gave me 30 days to get compliant. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to blow everything out. I'm going to give this massive gift to the people who I love and who have supported and been such amazing customers. Like, I hope you guys know how much, if you're a customer, I hope you know how much we appreciate you and love you. And the fact that we can bring what we do on this level to you is truly an honor and a gift. So I was just like, okay, well, I need to jump through a bunch of regulatory hoops for my CBD products. And so I thought, I'm just going to blow all these out. So that's what we did last week. And then I've decided that I'm going to spend some time through the rest of this year, and I'm going to jump through the hoops. And then the first of the year, I really do plan on bringing these back because I depend on them, members of my family depend on them, and they're going to come back. So I thought that was like an interesting start to the week. And I've also discovered that it's fascinating how strong and resilient you become, because this whole government legal thing that I've been going through with Lamasham is not wrapped up, but it's coming into the final sprint. And this visit from the cannabis person was it didn't even faze me. And so we do become very strong, and we become very resilient. And it also made me realize, no matter what happens in the modern world that we live in, and the things that I need to do to be a functioning, productive part of the society, even though there's things that happen that I don't agree with, it makes me feel more resilient. That I need to stay in a place of, I'm not giving up, and I'm not going to quit no matter what happens. We are strong and resilient, and I can truly thank both of my parents for these traits. I will admit I'm a very emotional person, and throughout this whole the whole part of this year, this whole year so far, I've had my less than stellar moments where I've interacted with people who I feel like are wronging me, and I've had less than proud moments. But then I know how to apologize. I know how to come back around, and it's been an interesting growth for my soul and my consciousness and the being that I am. That's not this physical being. I guess it's growth that I asked for. And I want to take it for what it is and realize the deep spiritual growth that I'm getting, that my consciousness, my soul is achieving. So I've learned that I need to be more stoic along the way. This is what I wrote. I'm still working on it. It's a practice for sure. I've learned that when people show you who they are, believe them and treat them accordingly. So I believe it's important to treat people with kindness, but when someone shows you who they are the first time, if there's a nugget of wisdom that you get out of this video that for me this is one of the very most important ones, because I think that we let people abuse us mentally, emotionally, with their words, with their actions, and we keep accepting it. And then there's anger, and there's frustration, there's physical pain. For some people, I experienced that myself over years, is I'll have emotional pain, I stuff it down, I accept what comes at me, and my body expresses physical pain to distract me from the fact that I am letting people emotionally abuse me, because they're showing me who they are, and I don't take them out of my life. I'm not an unkind person, so it's very uncomfortable for me to be abrasive or abusive, or even stand up to myself for myself. Sometimes it's getting a little bit easier because it's self-preservation to a certain point, right? I've learned that sometimes it doesn't serve me to throw love and trust to people who don't deserve it, who haven't earned it. Now that seems pretty crazy, right? Everyone deserves love. But the thing is, there are people who will abuse it. And I've learned that sometimes it doesn't serve me to throw love and trust to people who don't deserve it or who haven't earned it. You know, I think you can always put your best foot forward. You can always lead with love. Then, if it's not reciprocated, you need to learn to step away. You need to back away. Don't accept this in this life. This is not the way we're supposed to be. It's okay if there are some people who are not in your life. It's actually more than okay. It's important. It's very important. And I've learned this the hard way for many, many times and situations. And it does get difficult when there are people, especially, and situations that you can't remove yourself from, that you have to be in and you have to see it to the end. Then it becomes, okay, how do I navigate this and stay in a place of integrity, self-integrity for what I believe? That's what it becomes. I realize I can walk away from anyone or any situation. And this, again, is if there's something that you need to wrap it up, have integrity, have honesty, make kindness your compass. And then the minute you can walk away from a situation or a person, it's very important that you do that. Sometimes that might mean walking away emotionally until you can physically walk away. Okay? So that is a learned skill. This is being the Tao, just being, where you don't get emotionally triggered either way. Like, I think me, for sure, I can say I do this. I jump and I want to defend and I want to, emotionally, can get emotionally triggered very quickly. And I don't take a minute to pause. And if you can relate to that, where you think about, okay, someone just said this to me, our first response is, I need to defend myself. No, that's not me. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. I don't feel that way. And you want to defend. And instead of just close your mouth for a second, take a deep breath, ponder for a second, and then see what sits with you when you really get a chance to let the emotion wear itself out. Then you can come back with a lot of clarity. this is something I'm still learning. This is a challenge for me. And I'm sure some of you might be able to relate to that. I've learned that it serves me to get angry at I've learned that it doesn't serve me to get angry at someone, something, or any situation. This is that that they are having their own journey, and it simply is what it is. Sometimes it is what it is, and then you get to choose. Am I going to get triggered? I can always take the empowered route. I can always take the higher road if I choose to. If I take a moment and simply take a deep breath and let myself get centered. I hiked with a beautiful friend this week, and as we were chatting, and I was filling her in on on some of this stuff, and I was getting a little bit emotionally charged. She's a very dear friend, and one of the things that she said to me was, "This is where we get to bring ourselves back to center. Just take all this over here and all that over there and bring yourself back to center. Ground yourself." And I will tell you, the past few months, and especially when things start to get and feel out of control with what happened with these really heavy things, I breathe really shallow because I feel like my body is in a little bit of fight or flight, and I don't realize it. But then what happens is my lungs start to create or crave a deep breath. So I'll find myself taking a really big, deep breath. And then I'll be like, oh, I need to remember to breathe, just to simply breathe and really fill up my lungs. So it's all so interesting, right? No matter what anyone does to me, I can choose how I handle it. These are all these things that I wrote down. I've learned that it is critical that I become more private. In 2020, I opted out of Facebook and social media personally. And I thought about this very heavily, and I go through these moments where I say, you know what? It's time for me to stop putting myself out there, because even though I do this every single week, I'm actually a pretty private person. I mean, you might not believe that, considering how much I share and all the things I say, how I can simply get on this video and just talk. But I will tell you, there's something in my soul's purpose that it tells me that if I can even affect one person with my experience or my thoughts, then it's good. And then that one person how it changes their life for the better, hopefully, it will ripple out too. So my love of privacy is very high. You know, like I said, you probably would not know that, considering the things that when I jump on here and share every single week. But it kind of, if I can say anything to anyone out there, I would suggest sharing absolutely everything on social media. You know, if you have siblings or people that you love that you want to share pictures with and things with, send them a text and send them a picture. You know, send them make it personal. I think we get so used to that dopamine hit, and I can relate to this. Even now, I love hearing your comments about what I'm saying. I love hearing that I've affected you in a positive way. But I think that's a little bit different than posting everything that you eat and everything, fancy vacations that you take. And I think we get that little dopamine hit that gives us, it just gives us that dopamine. That's a hormone that makes us feel good, and we feel validated, and then we need it again, and we need it again. And I'm telling you, when you can opt out of that, life is so much better. And I would encourage that. Life is 100% better when no one knows anything about you. Yeah, ironic that I would say that, right? You shouldn't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be in life. You know, I look at that and I just think, okay, that's really a fascinating thought. You need to be smart enough to create your own opportunities, and don't wait for them to come to you. You know, I think that this is a really amazing time to be here, because whenever there are big changes that happen in the world, And systems that are no longer serving humanity are starting to break apart, and we all see that. The cool thing is if you can stay in a place of rational thinking and creativity, and again, this is a part where you make your body and your brain lighter by what you don't put in. If you put in clean, healthy, small amounts of food that serve you, and you keep this temple as functioning as you can, that you are going to get creative downloads. And then this is what the world needs right now. I think times like this is when you have the biggest opportunity to create wealth and abundance, because everything is changing and the world is needing what has been crumbling. We need different, better systems, and there are people who are creating and doing that. I think the word freedom kept coming into me very, very, very strong. The secret of happiness is freedom. The secret of freedom is courage. I think courage is something that is a muscle, that the more you do it, the easier and the better it gets. It becomes a lot easier to practice courage. Be willing to have someone disagree with you. If you, whatever that looks like. In this life, you must take action if you want to experience freedom. So you have to take action. You can't just expect somebody to come and save you and your freedoms. That's not the way it works. So if you want to preserve your freedoms, you have to take action on everything. One of the big pillars for me is my health. It gives me freedom from a very broken medical system. I have freedom from that. I'm going to use it if I need it, like I did with my knee. If I have need trauma care, then that's why it's there. So freedom comes from taking action. You will always have some sort of conflict going on in your life, always. There's always going to be something. And then this, you must learn to enjoy life while still solving the conflicts. There is beauty in everything that we're able to experience. There's beauty. You just need to adjust your perception. And I'm working on my perception. Because there is always a silver lining. And here's a quote I heard. You can either cry in the storm or you can dance in the rain. This is all part of your perception. It's all part of saying, okay, every one of us have conflict in our life. Always there's going to be conflict. It might be a small something here, it might be a big something next. But it all depends on how you choose to perceive it and then how you respond to it, okay? And then I found this really cool, I'm going to go through this super quickly. I found this really cool list of 12 things. And it's funny how all of them seemed to really fit with this whole theme. So I'm just gonna actually say this. This was a quote I found on this little reel one of my sisters sent to me. She was like, I think you'll like this. And so this was just 12 things. Number 1, when you are winning, keep your mouth shut. Number 2, don't tell people your plans. Wait till the results speak for themselves. Number 3, never expect to get what you give. Not everyone has a heart of gold. Number 4, every day you wake up, you have a new job to be better than yesterday. Number 5, you will never get what you want until you are grateful for what you have. Number 6, sometimes what you try to hold on to is exactly what you should let go of. Number 7, if you want to buy things without looking at the price, work without looking at the clock. Number 8, God puts people in your life for a reason and removes them from your life for a better reason. Number 9, the devil wouldn't be attacking you so hard if there wasn't something valuable inside of you. Thieves don't break into empty houses. Number 10, you're going to set a lot of people off when you start doing what's best for you. Number 11, you will lose a lot of friends when you get really serious about your life's goals. And number 12, life does not get easier. You just keep getting stronger. So then I wrote just a couple more things, and this is where I'm going to finish. Those who improve themselves remove themselves from any environment that doesn't appreciate their presence. I'll say that one again. This is beautiful. Those who improve themselves remove themselves from any environment that doesn't appreciate their presence. The magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. Think about that one. That one's very big. There's magic when you do the work, whether it's personal development, spiritual work, physical work. You know, I'm in the process of achieving 50 pull-ups by my next birthday. I started meeting one of my sisters who I've been working on it, but I've been meeting one of my sisters at the gym with it's an assisted pull-up machine. So you can literally put the weight stack down, and it allows you to do the pull-up using the amount of weight that's not your full body weight. You can actually, and then you can start moving it up where it takes less and less weight off as you get stronger. So there's magic when you put in the work, and it's amazing because I'm starting to feel stronger and stronger every single day. So that is magical. That's so magical to me. You owe it to yourself to not make a situation worse. This one I wrote to myself as I've been dealing with all of these things this week. It's like, you owe it to yourself, Jane, not to make the situation worse. Because I get worked up. I think how unfair. And I fall into little pity parties sometimes. And my hope always is that I don't say something to someone else or shoot off an email or a text before I have a chance to breathe and really think about it. And sometimes I fail, and sometimes, most of the time, I do very well, and I give myself a chance to think about it. So you owe it to yourself to not make a situation worse. Even if we feel we've been wronged. Process before you respond. Respond differently and see what happens. And then the very last thing I wrote is this. Was the final of my journaling this week. Every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God. Every single moment. We don't know when it's our time. And, you know, if you're like me, I want to get to the end of my life whenever that is, whenever that is. And I want to be able to say that I was proud of myself, and that I just lived in grace and gratitude, and that I was thankful for the hard things because they made me a better person. And I know that when we're in the thick of something really, really difficult, it's so hard to be grateful. It's so hard to be grateful for what you have. And I will tell you, going through this last half of a year, a little more than half a year, I found myself in moments where I am sitting in a beautiful home with all of my needs met. I have energy, I have electricity, I have a nice bed, I have food every day. And there's been moments when I truly have felt this full victimhood. I have felt so ungrateful for all these things that I think were happening to me. And I have to I've had startling moments where I think the word gratitude, because I look at my life and I think, how unappreciative are you, Jane? You need to bring this back to gratitude and bring it back to love. And it gives me a different perspective. I hope that for you, because this life is beautiful, and the hard things are there as a teacher. The hard things are there for us to learn and to grow and to have more compassionate responses to others. You know, we don't know what anyone's going through. We don't know if someone's responding out of anger. Someone is doing something that you feel is totally off base and wrong. I would recommend, if you don't know what's happening, which some people put on a face, they put on a facade. Most people in my life don't know what I've been going through. Most of my family members, I have a big family, I have a huge, ginormous family, and I've decided to keep a lot of this more private because I don't want to stress them out. I don't want them to worry about me. So it's interesting, you know. And if you think, well, you're putting this on video, well, most of my family members don't watch me, so I'm not worried about that. Anyway, thank you for being here every week. You know, I've actually, interestingly, had moments where I will go back and watch a video from a couple months ago, and it actually helps me. I'm like, oh, remember you said that, remember you thought that, remember you had that little bit of an epiphany that felt important to share. So, you know, this life is good. We don't know when it's our time to go. But I think that we honor our Creator when we show gratitude for every breath and every day that we get to be here. So thanks you guys for being here, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful week. Let's stay strong during these pivotal times. I love you all. Talk to you soon.